Yeah, good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is David Gold. As now now welcome to co-open radio and television stations. Still on this same election matter and this court issue where they happen, this petition with the court, and also for the inauguration of swearing in of the elect president Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Now the question is, the date is coming so far and so close, and it's becoming closer and closer every day. May 29 is the day for swearing in, but yet there is still the case is still in the court. Now people don't talk say there are two type of people, two persons who can stop the inauguration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. How is that possible? That's one. Then two, how possible it is, how fast it is it going to be easy to stop the swearing and the handover to Bola Ahmed Tinubu? Listen to what this young man say. Watch this video, make you hear the two persons, two people that can stop the handing over and also the inaugurations of Bola Ahmed Tinubu against the will of INEC, against him becoming the president because of the case that is still in court.
May 29, 2023 is around the corner. And for many of us, like Ulisa Bakoba, who believe strongly that the 2023 presidential election petition should be concluded before the handover date of May 29, this date approaches with a lot of concerns in our heart. And it leaves people like us wondering, what are the possible things that can be done to stop the inauguration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu of the APC on May 29th? What can be done to stop him? Who can stop him? Particularly considering the fact that Peter Obi has a very, very strong case at the Elections Petitions Tribunal to stop him. And many people perceive that if Tinubu is sworn in on May 29th, then he would probably have the reins of power to influence the decision of the tribunal. That's what many people believe. And that's why it becomes increasingly important to consider, can Tinubu's inauguration be stopped? If yes, by who? Right now, the petition of Peter Obi is at the tribunal. And because the case is very strong, people are pushing for the fact that the tribunal should speed up action so that they can conclude before the May 29th inauguration date or the May 29th handover date in Nigeria. Now, let's look at some scenarios. Do you think that the Presidential Elections Petitions Tribunal can finish the case before May 29th? It doesn't look like that. It's not likely, because right now we're just about 30 days to May 29th, and the Presidential Elections Petitions Court is just at the pre-hearing stage. Peter Obi submitted his response to the preliminary objections of Tinubu and INEC just 2 days ago. And that gives the Presidential Tribunal 14 days to carry out its pre-hearing. Pre-hearing is where things are finalized, dates are fixed for the main hearing proper. It's also this pre-hearing period that the judges will be appointed. We heard yesterday or day before yesterday that the judges, the 5-man judges for the presidential elections petitions, have been chosen. And so they will now decide the date during this pre-hearing period. And of course, we're told that the president of the appeal court, who happens to be a woman, is the head of that presidential elections petitions tribunal or petitions court, PEPC, I like to call it. All of this pre-hearing stage is ongoing, but how likely is it that the petitions tribunal, the elections petitions tribunal, will conclude before May 29th? It is highly unlikely, like I said, because 14 days from now will just be like the middle or just about 10th to 14th or 10th to 15th of May. And that leaves about 2 weeks to May 29th, which means that all of the 4 grounds on which Peter Obi is contesting the outcome of the February 25, 2023 elections, all the 4 grounds have to be concluded in 2 weeks. And that is closer to impossible than being practicable. Now, let's even assume for the sake of argument that the petitions are concluded in that 2 weeks and a judgment is made in favor of Peter Obi. That is not the end of the matter. That still cannot stop the inauguration of May 29, the inauguration of the swearing in of Tinubu as president of Nigeria. It won't stop it, because if a verdict is given by the tribunal, APC and Tinubu still have the chance to appeal. And that is another 30 days to the appeal court. Now, from the appeal court, once a decision is also reached and it's not in favor of Tinubu and the APC, they still have a chance to appeal to the Supreme Court, which is take another 30 days. So, assuming that the Elections Petitions Tribunal is able to finish their case before May 29th, the appeal process will still extend it for at least another 2 months, which defeats the purpose of having the tribunal as a potential avenue to stop the inauguration of Tinubu as president of Nigeria. Now, if the tribunal cannot stop Tinubu being sworn in as president of Nigeria, what or who can stop the inauguration of Tinubu? Because right now, many of the supporters, many well-meaning Nigerians are not too happy. I am not too happy that despite the very strong case that Peter Obi has, a Tinubu is still going to be sworn in. I'm not too happy. So, what can we do? Who do we look up to? There are only 2 persons that can stop the inauguration of Tinubu. Only 2 persons. There are prophecies right now. Prophecies from men of God that say that Tinubu will not be sworn in. The prophecy is the thin thread upon which the hopes of many Nigerians are hanging as far as not swearing in Tinubu on May 29th is concerned. If that fails, because many prophecies seem to have failed concerning this 2023 election, if that prophecy fails, who else do we look up to? Can we protest to stop the inauguration of Tinubu on May 29th? Can a protest stop it? Any protest to stop the inauguration will be read very quickly by the government officials or the government forces as treason, because it will seem to be contrary to the Constitution of Nigeria, which prescribes the procedure for inauguration. Yes, protests can be made on the rigging that took place during the February 25, 2023 elections, but a protest to stop the inauguration, particularly some are talking about protests at Eagle Square to stop it, that the inauguration will not hold. I do not think that any protest can stop it from holding, except that such protesters will have some serious ammunition. And of course, if they do have such serious ammunition, then we're talking about another civil war, because the government forces will simply not take it lying down. And personally, I don't think I want us to go through another civil war. There are options through which we can achieve our goals, and violent protests definitely is not one of them. So violent protests cannot stop the inauguration of Tinubu. Let's be honest. Only 2 persons can stop the inauguration of Tinubu right now. Interim government cannot happen without those 2 persons. No protest, no amount of calls, no speech that is made by anybody can bring about interim government, because only 2 persons can bring about interim government, and those are the 2 persons that can stop Tinubu's inauguration. Number 1 is God Almighty. God Almighty. Only God can stop Tinubu's inauguration right now. Only God. And number 2 is President Muhammadu Buhari. The God factor, we can only hope. But as far as President Muhammadu Buhari is concerned, I don't think his body language suggests that he's going to arrest Tinubu on the morning of the inauguration as the prophecies suggest, which means that right now we are probably stuck with a Tinubu inauguration, which makes me very, very unhappy and very, very sad.
We have to go back to the drawing table and ensure that we make the system to work.
Right. So you think that is what is responsible for what appears to be a delay to the start of the proceedings at the presidential level?
No, I won't call it a delay.
Right.
Yeah, those are responsible for the delay.
Right.
To get the
not something sinister, because some people have suggested that there's some,
No, I don't think so,
something
because
going on.
Again, I'm saying that this is not the first time.
Right.
To get it's like you are going to serve somebody in Asorok, right? Or you want to serve a copy of an election petition on a respondent. It takes time. On the INEC, sometimes you have to go and ask for substituted service. The procedure is time consuming. And at the end of the day, the judges will have to battle to be able to deliver their judgment within the system. Right now, I think I was reading, I think it was in Bauchi, about 45 petitions have been filed. 45. And the judges have only 6 months to deal with them.
So basically they have to take the entire 6 months in order to properly
in many of the states,
create what resembles justice.
Over 50 petitions have been filed.
Yeah.
And again, as I've said before, Nigeria records the highest number of election petitions in the entire world because we have refused to make our system to work.
But what I don't understand is that, you were one of the people who over time pushed for electoral reform and are still pushing for it. That's why you had this new Electoral Act 2022 that was brought in. What is it that prevented the Waste Panel report from being incorporated into it as far as this part of it is concerned? When it was clear that it would significantly restore credibility to the electoral process and usher in sort of free and fair elections in Nigeria.
I think, unfortunately, the man who set up the panel, that's the electoral reform panel, the late Yaradua, could not implement the provisions.
Yeah, but I'm wondering why it wasn't incorporated into the electoral
all the
act.
other regimes, successive regimes, have preferred to retain the status quo because they profit from it.
Right.
Yeah. That's it.
So
all the legislators
right.
also want to take advantage of the loopholes in the system to keep themselves in office.
Yeah. So basically, your assessment is that changes are required to electoral procedures, electoral functions, amendments to existing laws, and so on and so forth, as recommended by the Waste Panel.
No, we've gone beyond the Waste Panel.
Right.
We just have to embrace technology. The Waste Panel didn't think we're going to have beavers machines.
No, but I mean in terms of the time frame.
No, the time. What Waste Panel was pushing was that we should have enough time. Let's say 6 months. Conduct the elections 6 months before inauguration, so that all the petitions will have been concluded.
Yeah.
Now, that was it. But now I am saying
that even at this the way it is now, you can speed the process up.
In this case, you conduct elections in February, right? If you embrace technology and make it work, we can conclude election petitions in 14 days or 21 days.
But what you're saying requires a constitutional amendment, or it doesn't?
For me, I think it requires... No, of course, it does require constitutional amendment. Because right now, the Constitution provides for 6 months. At the time that provision was entrenched in the Constitution, the drafters never thought we were going to go electronic.
All right, so when I don't hear him, as if that was not enough, I also saw a clip on Twitter recently. The clip caught my attention about how our Nigerian politicians behave, how they act. They act like rascal They are not showing a good example to the young one. Just take a look at this clip and look at the behavior of the leaders of the country.
What? Let him tell me in concrete terms. What has the APC government? What even the APC is talking about? You don't know them as much as I do. You came and joined us in APC. I am a founding member of the APC.
You came and joined us. You came and joined us.
In the APC.
You were APC. No.
The APC.
You came and joined us.
I am in the
I'm
APC.
a founding member. You came and joined us. You came and joined us.
To join me.
You came to join us.
Even in the APC,
yes.
I have a better standing and footing than you.
Oh, really?
But once I was blind,
Now the question is, are we going to say these two men are an example to the young men, or do we say the youth of this country should take after the footsteps of these two politicians? What exactly are they really telling us? What exactly, which roles said they play for us may we take emulate? To become a rascal? To not be transparent? To not be truthful? Or to not be faithful to ourselves? Or to not obey the Nigerian rules and regulations, Nigerian constitutions? I think we need to come to a level, we need to come to a point in this country whereby we must let these people know the fact that Nigerian constitutions and Nigerian law is the only thing that bind us together, and nobody is above the law. Irrespective of your positions, irrespective of your name, your tribes, irrespective of your religion. That it is only the law that supersedes all. Because if you continue like this, no. We are going nowhere in Nigeria. I don't talk my own, and I don't close my, because of people don't talk, say I don't talk too much. Now bye.